If your grocery bill feels out of control and you're looking for some real budgeting tips to get back on track, if you're trying hard to cut your food costs and save money, and frankly, who isn't right now, I may have some good news for you today, because if any of the overpriced convenience products I'm about to show you are making their way into your cart, you've got some big frugal living savings coming your way just by leaving them on the shelf. Welcome to Grocery Dad, I'm David. Our mantra here is shop smarter to live better, and that's exactly what today's episode is all about. Now, after more than 20 years working in the food industry, I've seen a lot of fads coming and going, a lot of convenience hacks, and frankly, they seem to be getting worse and worse in a lot of countries like the US and the UK. And I completely understand the attraction of these products. I've bought a lot of them myself over the years, offering you a quick, easy solution, something that's going to save you time on cooking or on meal prep. They are very, very well marketed, folks, to suck you in. But at the end of the day, there is always a cheaper alternative for healthy eating and better nutrition. So let's get into this with product number one, which is those single serve snack packs. So first and foremost, the price per ounce on these snack packs is eye-watering compared to buying just regular packets of whatever's in them. And much of what you're paying for is just excess packaging, which means more waste, and frankly, it's not very good for our planet either. Now, you might argue that portion control is a benefit, and that may be true, but you're still likely to get less for your dollar and sometimes less quality compared to just buying separate ingredients. So don't be tempted by how handy these things look. Buy larger bags and just portion it out yourself at home. Use your own resealable, reusable snack bags and containers, and then just have it ready for when you need it on the go. Okay, let's move on to number two today, branded spices. Now, I have been a sucker for these in the past myself, but spices are heavily marked up by brand and packaging design and this sort of perception of prestige. But folks, I've done the comparisons myself, so have many others, and everyone comes to the same conclusion. Store brand, generic spices perform almost exactly the same in every case in taste and quality. Like, if you can tell the difference, you must be some sort of wild spice guru. You pay more per weight for these spices than just about any other grocery item in the whole store. So you really don't want to be adding in more of a premium for something like a fancy jar that claims to be airtight. That stuff's going to degrade at just the same rate. Believe me, people. And it doesn't matter whether they call it exotic this or single origin that, mostly all just marketing. So instead, choose the store brand or look at buying in bulk from a specialty store. When you get it home, store it in your own airtight container to preserve the freshness for as long as possible. On to number three, which is pre-cut fruit and veg. Easily double, if not triple or more of the price compared to whole produce. Packaging, again, here is usually bulky, single-use plastic. That's a lot of what you're paying extra for. And as for quality and freshness, well, I think we all know fruits and veggies lose their freshness rapidly once they've been cut. So you're missing out there as well. The easy swap, of course, is to buy whole, chop it once a week, and store it in reusable containers. And I'd like to add here as well, I'm not having a go at anyone who has difficulty with chopping fruit or veg or any of these other tasks that we're talking about today for any reason. If you struggle with that task, then buying this stuff could be a really good way to make sure you get it into your diet. No, this is really aimed at those people who know they've gotten a bit lazy, they know they've got into some bad habits, but most of all, it's aimed at those folks who definitely could be chopping their own produce and very quickly, and they know they want to make some smarter, more cost-effective choices when they're at the grocery store. So with that being said, next up we have those instant oatmeal packets, and this one, honestly, I just don't get. Some of the others I've bought myself, or I can see the allure or the perceived benefit, but with this one, sorry folks, I just don't get it. I mean, I think it's probably reasonable to assume most of us are having oats for brekkie, if we're having them at all, and if you're doing that at home, then I see no reason at all not to buy a big bag of oats and just portion it out yourself. But even if you're having it on the go, why not do exactly the same thing? Portion it into a Tupperware container alongside some fruit or a little honey or whatever you want to top it off with. Now, you might say, but those instant packets cook a lot quicker, David, and I don't have a moment to waste waiting for oats to cook. Okay, that is a fair point. In which case, if that is a premium you think is worth paying, then try at least to find instant oats with little or preferably no added sugars or flavors or any of the other gunk that comes in ultra-processed food, because that stuff isn't good for you, but it is part of what you're paying extra for. But taking a step back, remember the food industry is going to hit you hard with this speed and convenience message. You know what I mean, right? Every job that they've got a highly processed convenience alternative for is one they're going to tell you you're too busy to do yourself. So you've got to ask yourself, is it really too much time? Like, what am I actually doing with those 5 minutes that's more valuable than making some healthy, nutritious, cost-effective food for myself? Okay, number 5 is those yummy bakery desserts. You know, the ones they've labelled as fresh. Well, they're not fresh. There's no little patisserie out the back there where someone's adding a cream filling to the eclairs as they come out fresh from the oven. They were made miles away, probably days ago, and they were thawed at the store. But regardless of that sort of seemingly iffy authenticity story, they still come with a hefty markup compared to anything you can make at home. And on top of that, more ingredients than you could, frankly, shake a chocolate-covered stick at. So get a load of this from one store-bought eclair that I checked out. We've got beef gelatin, we've got vegetable oil, we've got emulsifiers, we've got natural flavours, natural colours, sugar, preservatives, some emulsifiers and some more natural flavours. So instead of that, get your pantry sorted and make your own. And if you want some inspiration to get you going, here's 5 of our favourites, sweet and savoury snacks that come in under $1 a serve. You cannot beat that down the store, and you will not find bakery goods like this made with only 5 ingredients for less than the price of a kidney.
You already love getting more for less, that's why you're here. So become an official pal of Grocery Dad and get even more. As a channel member, you're getting early access to videos, exclusive shorts, priority replies to your comments and polls to shape what's next. Extra value, low cost, smart shopping. Hit the button and let's become pals.
Okay, one of my favourites are number 6, folks. Not because I like them, but because it's so transparent what the food industry does here. It's those trendy superfoods. Think goji berries, matcha, chia seeds, like anything really. But the point is this: if the food industry can attach a superfood label to it, they can charge a premium for it. And they do, and they will continue to do it. So it's less about the item itself here, and it's more about being aware of the marketing. If you hear and you see something getting that hype, there's a very good chance the price is going up through the roof, and that might be the time when you want to start looking at, let's say, flax seeds instead, or brown rice instead of quinoa. You'll save yourself that superfood tax, and you'll probably find all the same nutritional benefits. And yes, I know, brown rice contains certain levels of arsenic, so I wash mine first and I don't eat it every day. Other swaps would include things like oats, beans, apples, leafy greens. So long story short, anything the food industry hasn't labelled as a superfood is going to be cheaper and potentially better for you in nutrition terms than something that has. Okay, number 7, we have one that might be contentious, we'll find out. It's individually wrapped cheese. Now, I was out with my girls a couple of months back. I hadn't planned very well, got to lunchtime and didn't have anything prepared from home for them to eat. And I had to duck into the grocery store to get something to feed them that was not some grotty fast food option from the high street. Individually wrapped cheese was useful in this situation, I'm not going to lie, but it kind of shouldn't have been necessary because I should have planned better and I should have just got myself sorted at home before we went out. This stuff costs so much more per pound than a block of cheese, and again, it creates so much unnecessary single-use plastic waste. Generally, doesn't taste too good either, and that's down to all the additives that they have to put in it to stop it from sticking and melting and going mouldy and all that kind of thing when it's sitting on the shelf. And as for a better alternative, well, you're going to get the hang of this and where I'm going with these very quickly, folks, because yes, you guessed it, buy a big block, slice it, cube it at home and store it in your own reusable containers. And that way you're going to save a huge amount of money, you're going to control how much you eat, and you're going to minimize the amount of extra goo that is going in you and your children's bodies. All good things, I think you would agree. Now for number 8, it's bottled water, but more specifically, I want to call out here those wonderful flavored waters and coconut waters as being an absolute money pit. I saw some the other day at Walmart for $4.50 a litre. $4.50 a litre! If that isn't enough to put you off, let's see, what else would you like to know? How about the hidden sugars and artificial sweeteners? Or maybe the acidity and the dental damage that they cause? Then there's the lack of nutritional value, or the pasteurization, in the case of a lot of the coconut waters, which reduces the health benefits further. No, the truth is, for most people, the healthiest and the most cost-effective option for hydration is plain, clean tap water. Now, if you want to add flavour, sure, go for it. The best approach is to make your own infused water at home by adding some slices of fruit or veggies or lemon or cucumber or mint or whatever crazy flavour you want to stick in there. This way you get to control the ingredients again, and avoid all the hidden crap that they're putting in that expensive little carton. But best of all, it means those crafty sods at Cocoa Water Corp or Super Hydro Cocoa or whatever they call themselves can't blag you out of more of your hard-earned cash. Number 9, folks, is salad kits. I'm not exaggerating when I say the price of these things makes me weep a little whenever I see it. Absolutely staggeringly expensive. Same as the pre-cut veg, only worse really, because here you're often paying even more to have some preservative-packed goopy salad dressing slathered on top. Typically very short shelf life products, so unless you scoff it all on day one, there's a very real chance you'll be chucking some of it in the trash. And it's just another one that is so easy and so cheap to make fresh for yourself at home. Grab yourself a cabbage, shred it, carrots, do the same, maybe throw some apple in there too, some tomato, top it off with a little homemade dressing. We'll come back to that in just a mo. But in just a few minutes, you've got something that's fresher and tastier and cheaper than anything that's been in a plastic pot in cold storage for 3 or 4 days before you took it home. And so for number 10, let's circle back, shall we, on what you can put on that delicious homemade salad of yours that you've just made, which isn't going to be a store-bought dressing or vinaigrette, because those things are just grotty, overpriced, and yet again pumped full of crap, and a lot of them incredibly unhealthy too. More than that though, it's another one that is actually really easy to make at home with just a few simple ingredients. You take olive oil, vinegar, whole grain mustard, maybe some lemon juice, some salt, some pepper. That's basically it. I actually have a friend who makes his own dressing just like that in bulk, by the litre or 2 or 3 litres. It's always there in his fridge, totally clean ingredients, never touches store-bought with a barge pole. Now then, that leaves us with an old favourite to complete today's money-sapping groceries, and that is Premade Smoothies. This is a classic sort of health halo situation where you buy it focusing on one health attribute or benefit while ignoring a bunch of other things that might well be detrimental to your health. So you might be getting an extra portion of fruit or veg out of one of these things, but you're also very likely to be getting a massive hit of sugar, maybe some sweeteners, fillers, stabilizers, a whole load of additives that aren't going to do your body any favors whatsoever. You're paying extra for all that stuff that you don't want. Plus, as with many of the items on this list, you're paying for the packaging too. So the alternative, really, again, very simple. Invest in a decent NutriBullet. Not sponsored, but I've linked the one that we have and that we swear by down below. You blend your fruits, you blend your vegetables, your yogurt, whatever you want, really. Get creative. Freeze a few portions if you want that grab and go convenience, and just pull them out the night before, stick them in the fridge to thaw. So there you have 11 of the worst money-sapping, wallet-bleeding convenience products that I see people picking up off the shelves week in, week out. And I hope I've demonstrated as well just how easy the alternatives are to make. They really don't take a lot of time at all, but they are definitely cheaper and they are definitely a lot better for you. Tell me what you think though. I'd love to know in the comments, are there other convenience products that you avoid like the plague, that you steer clear of? Are there others that you have kicked the habit of because you realise just how much it's costing you to keep buying them? And what do you do instead as an alternative? Stick it in the comments. Let's get the conversation going. And if you like ideas to help you shop smarter and live better, then stick around for this playlist, because it's full of more tips and tricks to help you cut your food costs, cut your grocery budget, and increase your life happiness. Thanks for being here, and I hope to see you again next time.